back, and I'm wearing glasses for episode 24. 24 of the Metal Roundtable. I am Metal Rob, and with me as always is the great...
Carcass John.
Yes! We got a couple things to update you on. We just attended the public memorial for Bruce Corbett a few days ago, this past Saturday on March 9th, and it was great. John spoke. He did a very fantastic job. And our best wishes to Gina and the rest of Bruce's family. There's going to be a lot of medical expenses. I know there's a fundraiser page that you can donate to, but go to the Rigor Mortis page, go to the War Beast page, get in touch with one of the guys in the bands, and please donate some money to help with all the medical expense.
Okay. And also, at the show, they were selling a commemorative poster.
Mm-hmm.
Which looks great, a CD, DVD, digipack that looks fantastic, and there's still some available. Scott and I ran 300, about 100 of the posters. They look great, and so hit us up, send us a message. Scott Shelby, you can send him a message. You can send me a message, Carcass John. But anyway, we'd like to get rid of them all. We're not a museum, and I'll even sign it for you. I did the art on it, and
if you're lucky, tell them about this.
Yeah, one of these will be in your future. This basically is the first time that War Beast played under the moniker of War Beast. They used to be the Texas Metal Alliance, and with the help of Phil Anselmo, they changed their name to something really more aggressive and universal. So War Beast was it, and so. This is the audio of the very first show that they played, and then they played a comeback show in October of last year, and we thought that Bruce was going to hammer through this cancer thing, and he sounded great, he looked great, the band played flawlessly despite the lack of practice, and that's proving how great they were, because they just got it together and tore our heads off with great Texas thrash. But anyway, the DVD is outstanding. It's a copy of that last show. So it's the beginning and the end, hence the name BCAD. You see what we did there? Also,
he's a genius.
Also, I did the artwork here in the layout. I had Jonathan Hatley of the Mighty Asylum give us a hand with the technical aspects and Photoshop and so forth. But it's a really great package. It's $20 plus shipping. There's a few left. We did 300. We did outstanding. Selling people were really stepping up to the plate, and they left the one beer back at the bar. No offense to anybody that drinks, but they bought a CD, DVD, digipack, and a poster, and it was great. So, unfortunately, that might spell the end of War Beast as War Beast, but I know that those other guys, like Drew and Lyric, the bassist and other guitar player, have a project called Mr. Machine. That's in the works. Scott Shelby is always full of ideas. He's got some other musical things in the works. The bands that played that night, Rabid Flesh Eaters, absolutely decapitating. Iron Jaw, man.
Very good.
That's featuring Rick Perry of Gamma Side and War Beast fame. It was really an outstanding evening. A bunch of people showed up, and it was really, really awesome.
Well, and War Beast played...
And that too, what a shock.
With piped in Bruce's vocals.
What they did is they got something from the DVD, they pulled the vocal track out of it, and then they isolated the vocal track, and then the actual live band came out and played to a click track with Bruce singing, and it shocked everybody because
it was punishing.
Because Bruce gave his hey, I want to shout out to Carcass John. I want to shout out to Buster O'Keefe. I want to shout out to Warren from the Rockstar. And people were looking around the room thinking, wait a minute, I thought this guy passed away. But actually...
It was awesome.
It was technology bringing us the last final performance. And yes, the band was absolutely... Punishing. It was unbelievable. And his
mic stand.
And his mic stand was
standing there on the front of the stage
with a spotlight on it. It was really, really heart-wrenching.
Lee Russell crushed it on sound, man.
So shout out to our girl the Beauvais crew had it all going on. I know that Scott's daughter helped, and they had a bunch of other people there working the merch table. Man, it was a labor of love, and it turned out great. And it's a sad situation when one of our brothers passes away, but man, like I mentioned in my eulogy, we are a big family, and they proved last Saturday that they were there to support their brother, not just talk about it. They were actually there. They were buying the merch. They were supporting the family, and then the surprise of having Phil Anselmo come out and give his thoughts on the whole situation was really, really awesome.
It was
great
cool.
night. So
it was cool.
Sad situation, great night, and that's just the way life is, and it moves forward.
Well, having put a nice little bow on that, and once again, shout out to Gina and the Corbett family. Sorry for your loss, and please contribute if you can. We are going to talk about today, as typical, our show is completely unscripted. We've had this asked before. John shows up 10 minutes ago. I was like, hey man, you want to tackle Metallica today? Sure. So here we are. So I've got out a stack of Metallica records, and we're just going to talk about Metallica. So without further ado, here we go. I think this was, well, obviously it was the first album. So this was my introduction to Metallica. I did not get in on the tape trading thing. I wasn't there for that part of it. And I wasn't there for the Metal Massacre compilation where they did Hit the Lights with Lloyd Grant and Ron McGovney and Mustaine. I didn't hear that. This is the first thing I heard. As a matter of fact, I have 2 copies of this. One of these belonged to my buddy Richie Harris, and it's the one we listened to in high school. He gave it to me. But anyway, so when I heard this, man, I was listening to metal radio, which we've talked about before, and I was hearing Hit the Lights, Four Horsemen. I mean, all these songs were just huge on metal underground radio, the late night radio shows on 97.1 The Eagle and all those shows in the local Dallas area. So, what does this album do for you?
Well, actually, my introduction to Metallica was the No Life Till Leather demo tape, and so when they came out with a full length, I was really excited. So, and I love Kill 'Em All. I think it's a great record. I think little credit goes to Mustaine for really putting great songs where they could be played by just about anybody and make them great. But I love the record, but I will tell you, it's not my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Kill 'Em All," and then just throw the rest in the trad. Nope, that's not me.
I guess we'll get to that. Okay.
But I can guarantee you, it's not Saint Anger. That's not my favorite. But we'll reveal and my favorite Metallica here during the show.
And I don't have every single Metallica record in the stack, but I have most all of them.
But I love the record. Don't get me wrong.
I love it. This is, not to let the cat out of the bag early, to blow the wad early, but man, this is my favorite Metallica record front to back. Is it their best? Probably not. It's my favorite for sure. I love it. I love every freaking note on it. The other thing I liked about these guys was whoever was doing this, Megaforce, was getting the marketing right, because you got the album and then you'd get EPs, and the EPs had live tracks and bonus tracks and different mixes and stuff like that. So that was all cool. The artwork was cool. I mean, all these import 12 inches are just
back before
awesome.
You could just punch it up on YouTube and bang.
Yeah, Spotify.
You had to do some research. Yeah, that's a great one right there.
Jump in the Fire, that's a great one. Yeah, I love that stuff. And then this is the one that I remember. Not only, I mean, Kill 'Em All, I listened to all those songs on the radio, and when I was taping songs off the radio, I remember doing that. And then they played Fight Fire with Fire. And I remember listening to that on my cassette Walkman over and over and over. I have a very specific memory of sitting on a big giant round bale of hay and listening to Fight Fire with Fire. I lived out in the country. Sorry, I'm kind of a redneck bumpkin, kids, you know. I don't know why I pointed.
Why do you point at me?
I said redneck.
Just because I lived in Nebraska and bucked bales of hay.
But man, this one, it was awesome. It just made sense. A little heavier, a little more technical, a little more polished. Freaking great record. What say you, Carcass?
Well, then the cat's out of the bag. This is my favorite record by
Okay.
Metallica, and the reason why I loved it so much was for that very reason. The production was stellar. The songs were shredding. They were relentless. They had some melody. They told a story. You know, I mean, think about being trapped under ice. I mean, that's a weird that made you that got out of the realm of just hitting you in the face, and that made you think about something. Creeping Death, obviously, Ride the Lightning, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and Fight Fire with Fire. I mean, that's awesome, and I think the reason why I love this so much is because it had a European feel to it, because of Fleming Rasmussen, and we all know him from the Artillery days. He's a riffing MFer, and plus he's a production wizard.
You mean Mother Father?
Mother Father. That's right, what I meant. Okay. Yes, because
that's what MFer means.
Yeah. So, but I love the first one.
Yeah.
But man, this thing sent me into oblivion.
One of the most powerful live concert video pieces that I have seen and is just absolutely ingrained in my mind is Fade to Black live in Sweden or somewhere. I don't remember, but it's on the Cliff 'Em All video, and I remember that it was so powerful, even though it was a ballad. It was just so huge and heavy, and I always loved that video. And of course, you get more singles. I would have the picture disc of this.
Except you don't have $200.
No, I had it. I actually had it.
Oh.
And it belonged to the GOAT. He let me have it. And I graciously gave it back to him because it was actually the only thing left from his teenage record collection.
I got you.
So I gave it back to him. But here's the...
Is it lime green?
No.
Because then you'll need a 3 spot for that one.
No, it's not. It's... Is it clear?
Is it clear?
What the heck? Yeah, it's clear.
Oh, man, it's clear. That's...
Look at that.
There you go. You got some...
It's not white. That's the jacket behind it.
See, anybody that thinks that buying records is a waste of money is not concerned about the investment value of records. So that's for another show.
That is another show. Now, the coup de grace.
Okay.
This record took me a long time to get into, to be honest with you. Is this Metallica's greatest album? Like I said, my favorite is Kill 'Em All. I think this is their greatest album. I think they were full stride at this point. I think they had some experience under their belt. I think the songwriting is amazing. Every note on this record is near perfect. There's a reason Metallica's in the Big Four. I think this record put them in the Big Four to stay forever. And it did take me a long time to get into, but now as I go back and I hear this, it's impossible to discount this as one of the greatest thrash records of all time. Top 10, maybe top 3, in my opinion.
Okay.
What say you, Carl?
I say the same thing, except this is just slightly under Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
And once again, Fleming Rasmussen. And look at this, the epic picture. I remember looking at that going, man, those dudes have done something.
Yep.
Because I can remember seeing them in a pub in San Francisco with about 60 people, and now look at that.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
This just captures their greatness.
This thing is a ripping, brutal mother father of a record.
Mortar forker.
Mortar, yeah. I don't want to mother father. Anyway, but yeah, I love Master of Puppets. I give the slight edge to Ride the Lightning because it was innovative. This is taking that to a different steroid level. Mm-hmm. You're a healthy person on Ride the Lightning. You're Arnold Schwarzenegger here.
Right.
But I don't disagree with the fact that some people think it's the greatest thrash record ever.
And the artwork.
Yeah,
grief,
that's
man.
pretty telling right there.
So this will be a quick one for me. This is when I figured out that it took me a while to figure out that some of these songs were not Metallica songs. That they were Diamond Head songs and Budgie songs and stuff like that.
Holocaust songs and...
Yeah, this is cool. I love having this. I did not give this a million spins like I did the rest of their albums. It is the first thing that Jason Newsted appeared on, so I thought that was pretty cool. Um, this is good. This is solid. It's not my favorite Metallica record. I don't think it's meant to be. But tell me who can cover a song. I don't care if it's Helpless or if it's a freaking Bob Seger tune, Turn the Page. Who covers songs better than Metallica?
Probably not very many people, but they did Stone Cold Crazy too.
Amazing.
And if you can turn Queen into a Circle Pit song,
yeah,
then that's saying something about who you
Yeah.
are. So
Yeah.
I love Garage Days. I liked the Garage Days revisited.
Yeah, I did
That's
too.
got King Diamond on there,
Mhm.
Bob Seger, as you mentioned.
Mhm.
But that's how they got their chops. And it was ironic because I never heard of Diamond Head. I never heard
Yeah.
of bands like that or
I didn't
Holocaust. And so they were Lars, being from Europe, brought that influence into the band, and he had those tapes.
Mhm.
And so they're like, hey, check this out. Let's play this. Nobody will know the difference. And nobody knew the difference. We just
Right.
thought, wow, Helpless, what a badass song.
Right.
Man,
Right.
Metallica's really badass.
Well, and it got me going back, and I went and discovered Diamond Head, and I went and discovered Holocaust, and I went and discovered Budgie, because I wanted to hear the originals, and the originals are great. But man, if Metallica puts their stamp on your song, it's
Yeah.
almost like a different song.
Right.
Because they just Turn the Page, so freaking heavy. And if you hear the Bob Seger version, you're not thinking, man, this song's really heavy.
Yeah. Well, I remember when they covered When a Blind Man Cries from Deep Purple, which was a B-side, was left off of the Machine Head record, which is one of the greatest Deep Purple records, I think. But when they covered that on the most recent one, the Hardwired for Metallica's Destruction or whatever that's called, that was one of the best songs on the record. But I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't a Metallica song. But the way they did it was perfect. They did. See, that's the thing. When they do covers, they don't do it any injustice for all.
Right.
They do it. They do it exactly. In fact, maybe even better than the original.
Maybe.
If I can say that.
You can say that. It's our show.
It's our show. We can say
want.
whatever we want, right? Disagree with us down there.
That's right. Okay. This changed things for me. I did not like this album. I liked Blackened, and I really didn't dig this album very much. I saw this tour, which was my first time to see Metallica. They were monsters. This is where the Live Shit Binge and Purge box set came from, was this tour. And that thing is just devastating. It's just amazing. It's everything on it is good. I have come to love this album. I really come to appreciate it. It has really taken until the last few years for me to really get my arms around this album. And one of the reasons was the production that everybody complains about. The not being able to hear the bass. The
clicky drums.
Yeah, and that really bothered me on this album. And so I've come to love it. I think the remaster is really nice. It's really good. I still wish that you could hear that defined bass guitar that Jason played, and they did not fix that.
But wait.
There's more.
They did fix that.
Ish.
Well, but you need to get the Japanese pressing. Because the Japanese pressing remastered it direct from the tapes, and they included the bass. And they turned down the drums. But if you can find one, great. And then when you find one, be prepared to remortgage your house or miss a truck payment, because it's going to be $300 to $500.
Well, and the other thing too is I've heard that on this,
is that the double reissue?
No. This is an original.
Oh, original. Okay.
Yep, this is an original. If you can get a hold of the Guitar Hero tracks,
yep,
that those actually have the guitar, because there are bootlegs out there where people have remastered the Guitar Hero tracks because it includes the bass track somehow.
If you can find And Justice for All on a digipack that has the
interesting,
the Guitar Hero tracks.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. And of course, you keep going with the great art of I don't know how you say it.
Pusshead.
Pusshead, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Man, this stuff is just legendary. So you got another, more singles coming out after the records. These are super cool, really collectible, neat to have. Then we go straight to where things...
Straight to hell.
This is where things really fell off the cliff for me, man. I mean, I can't do it. Now, again, are the songs bad? No. The songs are great. They're well written.
Commercial.
They are very commercial. But here's the thing. We've had this discussion before on past shows. If Metallica keeps being And Justice for All Metallica, they keep being Master of Puppets Metallica, do they get to this level? And the answer is no. I don't think they do. I think the commercialism of this, I think it kept them relevant. I think it kept them top of mind. Because after this, they put out some stuff that a lot of people thought was absolute stinkers. But they were still... but they were still relevant. So this record, whether you love it or hate it, it kept Metallica being Metallica and on top of the world.
I respect it. I understand what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. They were trying to make money. They got to the point where in their career where do we make money or do we make music? And if you can do both, then that's great.
And I think
then you're a super group.
Yeah.
But they were trying to make money. And Bob Rock, their producer, and why it took 6 years to make this piece of crap, I don't know why, but there are some good songs on it. There are some notable songs. Yep. And who doesn't know the little intro thing to Enter Sandman?
Sad
if you go to a hockey game, an NBA game, a college game, just driving down the road on Jack FM or the Eagle or whatever, and that's the thing. It crossed different planes of top 40, pop music, heavy metal.
And it brought their ballads squarely into focus.
Correct.
The Unforgiven. I mean, there's so many singles on this record. So for the diehard Metallica fans, yeah, we were kind of freaking out a little bit. But I totally get this. I respect it. I've come to have a good love affair with it. I'm not like freaking out about it, but it's a good record. I don't turn the songs off on the radio anymore. I get it. I totally get it. Okay.
We sound so much alike.
Now, I don't have Load on vinyl, and here's Reload. I can shorten this up real quick for you. They should have taken both of these albums, taken the good songs, and made one album and called it Load.
Sure.
Whatever. Great. Fuel is good. Memory Remains. I like it.
This is a great rock and roll record.
Yeah, some of these songs I don't even know. I probably have never even heard this, and I'm noticing it's sealed. But I don't have Load. Load's got some good songs on it, so I lump those two in together.
Sure.
Is that kind of the same with you?
Oh boy, here we go.
This album is sealed. Mm-hmm.
That should explain just about everything. Although,
yeah.
Now there was a couple of brothers on YouTube that remastered this whole thing. In fact, they went to the point of replaying the whole thing and re-recording it with better production. They actually used a snare instead of a trash can lid, and it sounds pretty cool. I'll tell you, somebody, John over at Diamond Head Records in Houston gave me the like a promo digipack that had a DVD in it of their search for a bass player. Because this is, they were
Bob Rock plays on this,
right?
Okay,
and that is worth the price. Even if you had to pay full price, that DVD is worth the price because they have all these killer bass players coming in. But as far as the songs, I mean, I loved Frantic, but after that, I can't even speak to it. They might as well be Lulu. This is one step above Lulu, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I know you don't have Lulu.
I don't.
And you're better off for it. You're a better person for it.
The thing that I don't understand is I don't get this. Why strip away the production to the point that it's just bad?
Who gets this?
Well, but this still is, I mean, the production is correct.
Right.
This is
because they got to the point where they didn't care.
Yeah.
They figured, we'll put anything out, it'll sell because it says Metallica.
And it did.
And they'll say, this is the most heavy, this is the most technical Metallica record ever. And then people will go buy it. They did.
I love you, Metallica. I don't like this. I don't get it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, and that was also during the some kind of monster phase, and they were
Oh
having
gosh.
strife and trying something different. Another cool thing about Metallica, man, there's so many bootlegs out there. Here's the Ride the Lightning demos.
Lars, you didn't see that. You
Oh
didn't,
yeah, sorry.
Lars. That you don't know who my
Paris Inc.
compadre is. He's
Yeah, these are pretty cool. So one thing about your favorite bands, man, you love having good bootlegs,
even man. Look at the Japanese really stepping to the plate.
and somebody had the forethought to archive all these shows. Now here is a hidden gem in the Metallica discography. I think. Are you leaving? Wait. Okay.
You've got me pinned in, so I'll stand right here.
I dig this a lot. This was a record store day a few years ago, I think.
And it was at a place in Austin, wasn't it?
I think it's in Tennessee somewhere. Grimey's in Nashville.
No, Nashville. Okay.
Live at Grimey's. I love this. It's a dual 10-inch. I freaking love this thing. No Remorse, Fuel, some of the songs from the albums that we don't really care about. They do a little jam on there. Motor Breath, Seek and Destroy. But the cool thing about it is, it's just this unedited live show they did at a record store. It sounds great. It's cool to hear them in a kind of a club environment, even though it's a record store. They're interacting with the crowd. It's a very small place, small gig. I dig it. This has a great place in my Metallica collection. I love it. I think it's cool.
will say one positive thing about this, and about anything that they do. They can do whatever they want. They can do all these Fuel and no whatever. They can do all that, but as long as they end with Seek and Destroy, that record is a success by eyes. That's one of the greatest Metallica songs ever.
Now, I am missing a couple things in the discography. Like I said, I just don't have them on vinyl. I don't know if I even have them right here. Yes, I do. We'll just go to this at the end. Okay.
Okay.
Are you okay? Little buddy. Okay. Saw them on this tour. I didn't get it. I did not get it. I won't say I don't get it. Death Magnetic, this took a while for me to warm up to. The GOAT kept trying to tell me that this was a great Metallica record. The thing that bothered me about this was the production on the CD. Period.
Hold the phone.
It distorts.
Okay, hold the phone.
The mastering is wrong.
The Digipack with the die-cut cover that's layered is a different mastering.
I heard that the jewel case version was the better one.
No.
It's the Digipack.
No. I was so excited when this was announced to coming out that I was driving to Houston and I stopped at a Walmart in Waco, Texas to buy it. So I had it in my hand because it came out on a Friday and I didn't have a chance to buy it. I was heading to Houston and I said, doggone it, I'm going to stop somewhere. And I stopped at that right there at the corner in James Rivera. You know where I'm talking about, at 409 and 35. And I grabbed it and I had all the cellophane off of it and I had the little strip across the top torn up before I even hit the car. Popped that thing in and I said the same thing you did.
It distorts.
Oh my gosh, what are they doing?
And it's not...
Heavy doesn't mean distorted.
And it's not... It's just too loud. Is much of a silly thing. People are probably throwing crap at their screens right now, but when you're making a mastering, when you're doing a mastering project, it can be too loud, and it can be too loud to the point of distortion. And that's what happened here. And the thing that killed me about it is how in the world, when you're a billion-dollar industry, or whatever they're worth, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars, how does that get through quality control?
You know how it gets through quality control? Because they have Rick Rubin sleeping on the couch, waking up every now and then.
He recorded it. He didn't master it.
From a stupor going, hey, you guys done? Okay, cool. Do another song. And then he supervises the mastering.
I don't know who did the mastering.
And that's what you get. But the Digipack with the die-cut cover is a much cleaner, and it's a little lower in the mix. But these are great songs.
I'll check that out. This is a good Metallica record. Don't get me wrong. The GOAT was right. I got into it. I dig it. I need to find whichever CD version doesn't distort, because it does. They talked about it on that metal show. One of the guys heard it. One of the guys didn't hear it. I heard it immediately, and I set the record aside. I had to come back to it later to figure out, yeah, it's a good record. I need to look past that.
Well, and
so,
to cop an opinion from our boy,
and 11 years ago already. Wow.
yeah,
We're old.
Rob Doom McNeese and down in Houston, he complained that one of the Exodus Exhibit A and B, the songs were just too long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have the same complaint. I'm going to use that same complaint that he used on these. I think the songs are just too long. They don't need to be 7 and 8 minutes long.
Death Magnetic.
You can have one or two, maybe, but not every song is 7 minutes plus.
Yeah.
That's just too long. I mean, save a little. You know,
Yeah.
do like Van Halen did. Record 3 albums, give us 10 songs, and then use the 10 songs on the next record. Stay out on the road so we can party with you guys.
Right. Good record. I dig it. Death Magnetic. I'm sure I'm skipping something here, although I think we're fairly complete.
We're completed.
Okay. We're going to differ on this. I already know that. I already know that we're going to differ on this. I don't have the album. Sorry. I do actually have the box set downstairs, but I'm not going to go get it. Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I wanted to see what was going to happen after Death Magnetic. And so I was excited to get this. And this one comes with, I don't know, they re-recorded some tracks or did something. I can't remember what the bonus stuff was.
The bonus is the best thing about this deal. And I think they could have, to your point, on the load and reload,
mm-hmm.
they could have combined both CDs of music into one really good one and then had the bonus CD and been done. I'd have been happy with that.
Fair enough.
The production, though, is good.
I like this. I think you get some classic Metallica off the first 3 or 4 albums. I also think you get some very Black Album era stuff, which is good, which is okay. It's not Load, it's not Reload, it's not Saint Anger. To me, this is a solid Metallica record. I need to give it some more time because even though this has been out for, 3 years now, I still need to spend more time with this. The bonus disc is very cool.
Listen to those live tracks from that record store in Berkeley, California.
Yeah,
it's killer. It sounds completely different than the live at Grimey's,
and there's bonus tracks, Lords of Summer, the Ronnie Rising medley is fantastic. Yeah. Holy cow, it's so good.
My only major complaint about this is if you're going to have a song about Lemmy, man, that thing better shred.
I agree.
And why not have a, I know Lars is all into not stealing anybody else's, but get permission from the estate and have a Lemmy drop in there.
Yeah.
Have a loop of Another Perfect Day or Ace of Spades or something.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in the Lemmy tribute song, too. It's good. It's not great. But the other thing, too, and you're going to know this, that cover, that's Crowbar.
That's Crowbar.
That's the Crowbar cover. There's no question about it. When I saw this, I was like, oh, I've seen that before. And I didn't immediately recall the Crowbar cover. But I thought, man, no, that's something. I've seen that somewhere. And the white background, I guess, threw me off. But you go look up the Crowbar album covers, and you're going to see this on a black background. And the story came out on Blabbermouth, and I was like, holy cow, there it is. So,
well, once again, they're to the point in their career where they can throw anything out there, and nobody gives a bleep about it because they're just going to do it.
Well, I'm going to turn my back on the camera very professionally here and put this back. So there you go, kids. That's the Metallica segment. I caught John on the spot as soon as he hit the top of the stairs. It's like, we're talking about Metallica. All right, sweet. So there we go. We've been rambling for, 20 or 30 minutes now. Let us know what you think about Metallica, period. What did we get wrong? What did we miss? What did we leave out in my record collection?
I think that not unlike a lot of bands, I mean, most people say the same thing about Exodus. Oh, their first album was great, and then everything else is crap. People say the same thing about Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that about Van Halen. The first several were great, then the rest of it was crap, and the Van Hagar. I mean, I think every band goes through some sort of a weird transition that they try to figure it out and maybe try to stretch, broaden their horizons,
mm-hmm.
stretch their listening audience or whatever. And we need to have an overkill discussion because those guys have been spot on. That same highway, to your point, where would they have been
right
Well, Overkill's right where they probably
Always-
Metallica would have been if they just
Right.
stayed on that same path.
Exactly.
So
We could do Overkill. We'll do Overkill. Overkill coming soon, kids. So, subscribe to us on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Share the videos with your friends. I would encourage all of you to go watch the final Bruce Corbett interview. If you're a Rigor Mortis or a War Beast fan, go check that out. Not to pump us up, but we found out later that he was very happy with that interview as something to give to his fans on the way out. And we are privileged and humbled to have accidentally been the ones that were able to give his final.
well,
interview.
and longtime War Master roadie Larry Holmes was quick to confirm that was the last time that he spoke in public, in a public forum. So that made that event even more special. I still can't believe it happened. It's over. I still got text from the guy. I don't know whether to delete the phone number or whatever.
Just keep it.
I just keep it. Same thing with my own son. You don't
Keep
get rid of those things.
Just keep it.
But like I said, the community came together. We all gave each other a big hug. We had a good time. We shredded the metal, and now on to the next event.
That's right. Remember him. Keep his family in your thoughts and prayers if you're into that kind of thing. Donate some money if you can. Like us, share us, find us, cuss us out in the comments, whatever. But until next time, metal will prevail. Sideways or upside down. Side. Bye. I love you.